Yeah.
Before the PlayStation 5 came out, you bought a game.
I did.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I did.
Talk to me about it.
I got off of work and I was just like, I think it was on Instagram or something. It was like, oh, AC Valhalla out now. And I was like, what?
You're served.
My girlfriend was leaving. I was like, perfect time. She's going out of town. And I got that game and I played it all day. And it was fun.
Oh my god!
I got about 6 hours into that too. And I know a lot of people. Well, I don't say a lot of people, but I've heard the chatter of people don't like this game because it strays away from like what Assassin's Creed is. And honestly, and I'll get into it, I am very happy it has strayed away. This game could be its own game, and it doesn't need Assassin's Creed with it. It could just be like Vikings going and doing their own thing, because the whole point is you're leaving your land because your father has sided with or wants to be part of this bigger kingdom, and you and your brother are like, we don't want that. We want to be kings, or we want to be the rulers. So they take your little Viking tribe and go to England to start a new life for all these people. And so you get to be a Viking. You get to raid. You get to do raiding is probably the coolest thing. You can grow your settlement. I'm sure everyone knows this from all the ad stuff that's been going on, but I think this is it. It really isn't Assassin's Creed, but I'll get into how they tie it in. But I think it's really cool that you can build your settlement. You can go raid. You can do all this stuff. It's just big open world. And also heard people say that this is kind of like Odyssey on steroids or something like that. And I just didn't see how that is a thing. I don't know if you heard anything, Brett, that might tie into that.
No, I've heard. I mean, I have heard something like that, but I've heard this is like a less epic version of Valhalla, whereas like it feels smaller than Valhalla.
Odyssey?
Or sorry, yeah, it feels smaller than Odyssey. Yeah, is what I've heard, and but I'm surprised about that, with it being like, what did you say, an more epic version or?
Well, I've heard it's like they've taken, I guess, the best things from Odyssey and like built upon them.
Yeah, and it's possible. I mean, it's interesting because it's this is the team that made Origins. This is they did Assassin's Creed Origins. So this is like while Odyssey was being made, they were developing this game.
I got
you. They took their, obviously, a lot of nods from what feedback they got on Origins there, but I bet they probably also looked at what Odyssey was doing and pulled some of that into it.
I gotcha.
But I have heard mixed things about it, because they've changed a lot of pieces. Like, one thing I heard about it is that the way that they handle gear is very different from Odyssey to this game. Like, I guess with Odyssey, you were it was kind of like it had a gear. There was almost like a gear score or something like that, where you're constantly changing out gear. And this one, it sounds like you have one piece of gear that you just like level up, right?
Yeah. All the gears you can level up now, which is nice. Yeah. They have like 4 or 5 slots to level up, and you get a ruin slot, so you can add like health buff or attack buff or a stealth buff to it.
Yeah. So kind of like, I guess, the Ghost of Tsushima model in a way, where, well, I guess with Ghost of Tsushima, you're still swapping out weapons, but you have like 3 weapons to choose from. Is there different weapons here, or you just have like an axe? And that's
you start out with an action shield, and then you can eventually get 2 single-handed axes, so you can dual wield axes, or you can get a one-handed heavy axe.
Okay. Huh.
So I started off with the sword and shield. I thought that was the way to go, but then I realized you really don't need a shield, because I'm so used to Ghost of Tsushima now that I dodge everything. So I was like, fuck it. I'm getting 2 single-handed axes, and I find that a lot more satisfying.
Yeah.
Quicker, you can do heavy attacks, light attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, side note, it's kind of weird to see all these games starting to kind of feel the same all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Third-person action-adventure. You have heavy attack, light attack, dodging, rolling.
Third-person action-adventure, like melee games.
Yeah.
Whereas we used to have all the shooters all the time, and now it's just like, nope, let's do Dark Souls. Dark Souls light on everything.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to hate Godfall now that we've
Dude, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, the reviews that have been coming in have been like average.
Really?
So, yeah.
We'll see.
Like, I've seen like 7s and 8s. So
that's not horrible.
Yeah, it's not bad. But
anyway.
Yeah, so Valhalla, what about the story? Story like?
Yeah, story's good. Like, this is one of the So whatever they did, or whoever was in charge of this, like, or whoever started this game off to put the scene in there, made it so it was charming and it was intimate. Like, you start off as your little kid, your little boy, and you're in this giant party where this king the king is at. I think I forgot this is all part of the, like, the Viking lore and stuff. I don't know exactly how it all ties together, but there's a guy there, and your dad is with his tribe, and you're all partying, and he's about to initiate these two clans together, I guess, with this king, which is going to be their lord or whatever. And so you get to be that kid, and you get to kind of mingle with the party a little bit, and then you go and you part of this event that happens, and it's like all very awesome, and the way the characters and the way the camera moves and how everything is set up is just perfect. It's just so cinematic, and it pulled me into the story like immediately. And then as all this is happening, you have this some other Viking tribe comes and attacks the party, and they all start fighting. And so as a kid, you kind of experience this chaos and certain people dying and stuff like that sets you up for, your future and things like that. And so I was like, damn, this is actually a really good game. And then it continues that forward, and it kind of has that momentum that I was kind of talking about in Spider-Man. Like, it's just pulling me forward. But not only that, like, I want to go and explore the world now. I did a side quest later on in the story where this town said that there was a monster attacking them, and so they wanted me to go find out what it was. And I don't know. Should I spoil it, Brett, or should I just kind of make it vague?
Is it a side quest or main quest?
It's a side quest.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So there's these cows that had been ripped into, and one of them got thrown on top of this building. And so I tracked down I go through the woods, I find some clues, I go to this village that's been ransacked by this
grandmother's
monster.
house you go?
Yeah, exactly. And so eventually I find it, and it's just like an oversized man who has the mentality of a child. And I go and I kill it, and then I have to go find its mom, and then I kill its mom. It happens to be one of the villagers, and she's trying to protect her kid. And it's just this crazy thing, but you feel like this woman's a witch because she has some kind of, I don't know, it was an idol or something that like obscured my mind to make it think that this woman was more powerful than she was, or maybe there's like some kind of like powder. I really didn't realize what was going on, but when I killed her, she was just this old lady, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this, they make you think there's because it's Norse mythology. They have a lot of like interesting creatures in that, and I thought that I might actually come across something like that, and I didn't, but I kind of did. And the way that they went about it was just very interesting and creative. And I was like, man, little things like that. Like they if this continues on, like I'm going to love this game.
And this game's open world, right? Like completely open world.
Yep.
Man, that's
completely
crazy.
Open world.
So so when you start out, because you're like coming to England, I think it's England that it's in, right?
Yeah, it's England.
Yeah. So are you like, do you come in from the water and then you start then going through the land to like just progress through? Is that kind of the process?
Yeah, we hear about the settlement. Some of our people have set up, and so we go there, and they're not there anymore. We don't know exactly what happened to them, but we take, because they have like a whole kind of village already set up that's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
So we just move into that and start building out your settlement, which I think is awesome. So like, in order to build your settlement, you got to go and raid. And so you take your boat with a bunch of people on it, and you blow your horn, and it's like super loud and awesome, and gets me pumped. And I jump off that ship, and we run up, usually it's on a hill. We like run up the hill, and we're all like screaming and yelling and stuff like that. And then we get in there, we start like ripping people apart. And then usually it's a church that you go and raid, like a town with a church. So you break open the door with a friend, you go in there, kill some more guys. You have to have another friend to help you push the top of this chest off because it's so heavy. And usually there's like 1 to 3 different buildings you have to raid into. And it's just like, yeah, man, like I could do that all day. It's really awesome. It's only going to get harder. And then eventually they go into like bigger battles with raids with like armies and stuff, which I haven't got to yet. And I'm just like, dude, yes. I'm excited.
This map is even bigger than Odyssey.
Okay.
Which I heard Odyssey was huge.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
That's insane.
It's pretty big, man. There's like 3 different sections of this map. All right, but trying to close this off because I know we've been going for a while.
Yeah.
So how the Assassin Creed ties into all this is that your brother comes in at the beginning of the game with a friend who's an assassin. It comes with two assassins, and they talk about this order, and eventually you're gifted, the hidden blade. And then as you go forward, it turns out that one of these guys that you got to kill in the very beginning of the game is tied to this giant, like Templar thing, but they don't call it the Templar thing. And I guess the Templars actually haven't been invented yet, but part of this, giant group.
Yeah.
And so when you get to the new world, you have to unlock one of these buildings by raiding and getting supplies, and then that allows the assassins group to come in and be part of your tribe, and you help hunt down all these people.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. Did you watch any of Odyssey, or not Odyssey, but Origins?
Not much.
Okay. Did you watch more of Odyssey?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you saw the menu with like the people you got to kill.
I can't remember. No.
Yeah, usually there's an Origins and an Odyssey, but I don't really remember too much of Odyssey. I know Origins had a bunch of people you had to kill, and they had this whole like layout, and you find clues, and you get closer to unlocking these people to go and kill them. And this thing, dude, it is gigantic.
Yeah.
There is so many people to kill.
What about level grinding? Is that a problem here like it was in Odyssey?
I've only ran into like one problem with this one raid, and it said everyone was a 9, and like I didn't understand what that meant, because I go to other raids and no one has any numbers on them, the enemies. And so I found that one way more difficult, because within a few hits I'd be dead. So I tried it like 5 or 6 times. I finally did it, and what I did was I'd have a bow, and when you draw your bow, like parts of the enemies would glow, and if you hit those parts, some would have 1, some would have 2 parts. They would go down, and then you can go over there and click, I think it was R, and it does an insta kill to them. So they could be like a third of the health down. You can just insta kill them. Like you stab a sword through them, or the pikemen, you stab a pike through their chest.
Wow.
And they're just sitting there with. It's like brutal, man. But
crazy.
The combat is a lot easier for
Yeah.
sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I don't know
should.
how.
Yeah.
Don't know how to do this anymore. There's so many things. But yeah, I'm gonna pick it up because it sounds pretty good. I've heard some mixed bag reviews, but ultimately I feel like it's doing pretty well from a user review standpoint. I mean, it's kind of like, a lot of these Ubisoft games, you get really good reviews and you get really bad reviews. Like I've heard people shit on Watch Dogs Legion. It's not a great game, but it's still, I'm having a good time with it. Yeah. And so there's definitely been a lot of different opinions about stuff, but I think this will be a good one to get into. So